Hi folks, this is your MWIS planning outlook with the details through this week and the longer range trends. This is the state of play at the moment, and we have high pressure in charge over Britain and across most of Europe as well. We have low pressure which is out toward the west of Spain and Portugal and the Bay of Biscay. That's what we call a cut-off feature, and it's separated from the main westerly jet stream which is well away toward the north of us at this stage, and that feature will circulate around in a rather complicated manner over the next few days. It's helping to draw in the hot air from the Mediterranean and North Africa on south to southeasterly winds, and will continue to do so for the rest of this week. Some instability from that feature may just trigger the risk of some local bursts of thundery rain in western parts through the second half of this week. That is quite complicated. Overall though, it's higher pressure that stays nearby, and most places are fine through the rest of the week. Temperatures are then well above the seasonal averages. No great surprise with that plume coming up from the south. That will be the case right through the rest of this week. And even the trends into the next week show the temperature to be above average, not by quite as much across the British Isles. Still some hot weather across Europe though, but we're still overall feeding in the warmer air masses from the south or southwest. Total rainfall is treated very carefully at the moment because it is just that risk of an odd burst of rain coming up from the south sometime through the second half of the week. It could well be that most places are dry, but that risk of some localised thundery bursts can't just be ruled out. Into the following week, and again treated cautiously because we need to watch just how patterns develop. It looks as though west and northwest Scotland has a greater risk of rainfall coming in, smaller amounts elsewhere. Again, we just need to watch those details. Now this chart looks quite complicated at first view, but it's quite useful because it shows cloud amounts at different elevations. The red colours is very low cloud or even fog, and that is what exists over the North Sea as we go through Tuesday evening and night. The blues and the greens are high and middle level cloud, which would be well above the mountains but would just obscure the sky with hazier layers of cloud. Running on overnight into Wednesday, that low cloud and fog over the North Sea just pushes inland across eastern regions of Britain, and it may well be a rather misty start then across many eastern parts. Even into some central glens of the Highlands, that low cloud or fog could just be pushing in for a few hours around dawn. And it could be that it runs in onto the eastern slopes of the Pennines, the Cheviots. Most of the higher tops, though, would be above any of those fog layers, so some inversion conditions to start the day on Wednesday. The mountains and the hills broadly in the clear and very warm. That will burn off then as we go through the morning. A few of those fog banks could linger near to some North Sea coasts into the afternoon, but mostly it's a dry, sunny, clear story. Some haziness in the atmosphere though, not absolutely crystal clear views across the mountains. Some high cloud, the blue colours suggesting some thin high-level cloud, but there will be strong sunshine around throughout the day. Overnight and into Thursday, the greener colours just appearing from the south indicate some middle level cloud moving in, and that has the potential to create some bursts of rain from it as that runs in. So just a more humid atmosphere, more cloud in the sky broadly as we go through Thursday daytime, so not quite the blue skies and sunshine of earlier in the week. And that middle cloud in places in western regions could be producing some localised bursts of rain, and that could even push northwards across the Highlands heading through Thursday afternoon. Very uncertain with that, but do expect more cloud cover, and in places that could just produce an odd burst of rain during Thursday. Always complicated when we get what we call middle level instability coming into a hot weather environment. That scattered risk of bursts of rain is never easy to pin down. As we move to the later part of the week, it's most likely high pressure is still very much around. The risk of local bursts of rain on Friday looks much lower, and it would be a dry, broadly sunny day. Again, some haziness, some high cloud would just be around. Let's just roll the charts toward the weekend. There is complications of detail, again, partly due to that area of low pressure near to Spain and fronts attempting to push in from the Atlantic. Here's Saturday, and the model chart having a few goes at some bursts of rain across Ireland into western and northern Scotland. You can see the trailing line of a front somewhere toward the northwest. So the risk of some rain and cloud across northern and western Scotland into the start of the weekend. Eastern and southern Scotland, England and Wales more likely still under high pressure and more likely dry and sunny and warm at this time. Again, some misty mornings quite possible, but the daytime generally dry and sunny. Sunday, again, for many, could be a decent day with high pressure and a southerly airflow keeping things warm. You can notice some rain across Ireland, and that may be just starting to break out some areas of rain further into Britain as well through Sunday afternoon. A lot of uncertainty on how soon low pressure over the Atlantic tries to push in and destabilise things, but the risk of some heavy bursts of rain, possibly thundery, developing as the weekend goes on. And that sort of breakdown in the pattern could well take us into early next week, as that low does look now to develop a bit more widely and move areas of rain across the country. That will need watching for the detail. It does just look as though the pattern breaks into something more unsettled early next week. It could be that that is a fairly short-lived breakdown, because there is still a good suggestion of high pressure being nearby, and that's the week as a whole from the 11th to the 17th. The southern parts of Britain especially more favoured to be under higher pressure. Lower pressure is away toward the north, but may just interfere with northern and western Scotland with some fronts passing by and some rain at times. A lot to play for, it must be said, with detail for next week. Just need to see how the pattern plays out in the days ahead. We do still have signals of lower pressure being more in charge, though, once we go into the second half of the month. So if we do still hang on to some good weather in the next 10 days overall, I suspect once we go a couple of weeks down the line, the pattern is more broken and wet weather is more established by that stage. Plenty to keep an eye on, and you can check your very latest 3-day forecasts for your local area every day on our website. For today, that's your planning outlook. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.